This isn't just another podcast. It's a movement, a global wave of women from Nairobi to Nashville, Seoul to Sao Paulo, stepping out of the shadows and into the spotlight. Women who are ready to be seen, to be heard, to be unmuted. I'm Anjuli Marshall, an award-winning ABC and NBC journalist and speaker, turned business strategist, coach, and mom. My mission? To amplify the voices of women who were never meant to stay silent. One woman, one voice, one story at a time. So go ahead, put on your comfy pants, grab a coffee, and maybe the remote. Are you ready to press the button? Unmuted starts right now. Hello and welcome to the Unmuted podcast. I'm your host, Anjuli Marshall. And this is where we amplify the stories of women who are rewriting the rules of success. They are refusing to stay silent. Women who lead with wisdom, courage, and global perspective. And today's guest is absolutely no different. Dr. Yana Johnson is an entrepreneur, a beauty industry pioneer, and a keynote speaker. She's also the force behind a cross-continental brand. We're going to talk all about that today. And with awards, honors, and brilliant pivots as both a mother and a founder, Dr. Yana embraces creativity. She embraces courage and the lessons learned through building and rebuilding her empire. Dr. Yana, I am so happy that you're here. Welcome, welcome. How are you?
Hi, Anjuli. Thank you so much for welcoming me and having me on the show. And I'm looking forward to what's to come. I am amazing. I'm fabulous. Thank you.
You look fabulous. I am so very excited because one of the things that I said about you in the intro was that you were a pioneer. And I want to talk about that. When you hear that word, does it sound heavy to you? Like, oh my gosh, I really? Or do you connect so much with what you've already done? I know you're a pioneer, but do you know you're a pioneer?
I do. However, the word pioneer for me, it's like one of those words when you look back and you go, oh my gosh, I'm a pioneer. I've done all this stuff. Because when you're in the thick of it and you're doing what needs doing, solving problems and just forging the way ahead, having identified some needs, you're not thinking of pioneer at the beginning. You're thinking of pioneer on reflection. And I'm that type of person. I love to create and I just steam ahead with whatever I have, whatever resources I can muster, and I create, and then I look back or I sit down and I reflect and I see like, oh wow, that was pioneering. There's nobody else in this place.
So when you started in makeup, let's just take everyone back to the beginning, because I think that your story is so fascinating because you started things, obviously pioneer, in the UK when there really was no foundation for you. There was no road paved for you. Take us through that journey.
Okay, so it's very interesting because I remember interviewing my mom, who was, a couple of years before me, and I asked her, what did you use, Mom? And she said, we didn't use anything. And I was like, oh, wow. So the same with me, all the way up until about 18, I didn't use any makeup. And then when I would get my little girly bags and they would have a little, gift on the front, the gift usually didn't match my complexion or wasn't going to work with my skin. And it wasn't until I began songwriting and one day I was on stage and I had to have my makeup done. That was the first time I had my makeup done. And then I attended a trade show where I got a professional makeover. And when I opened my eyes and looked in the mirror, I was like, wow, because it looks like me, just enhanced, just more beautiful. And that day I got headhunted 3 times to be like a beauty salesperson for all these top brands of color that were at the time. And I was very curious. And I was like, well, where do they get it from? Because I knew that I can't get any of these brands in the UK. And, one thing happened after the other. And I thought, I'm going to bring this to the UK. I'm going to pioneer this because it's bigger than me. And there are many women who want to look like this and feel good. We're all inspired by Black Hollywood. TV was black and white. And then when color came and we could actually see people's skin tones and their beautiful weaves or wigs and makeup, that was a desire. And yet there were not products to keep up with the desire in the marketplace in the UK.
Wow. So once you knew that this was a journey you were on, I'm sure there had to be a level of commitment that you made. Like, at what point do you feel that there was no going back? Because you mentioned that you were singing before, you were performing.
Yeah.
At what point did you decide, this is my pivot? I'm going hard. I'm not going back home with this.
I think I tend to be one of those people who have things burning all the time. I love to create. So I'll create things in the daytime. I'll create things in the evening. There's different spaces. We call a zone. And so there's different spaces that I create things in. So the music, the songwriting, the publishing never ended. It's in the background. And then when I started doing the cosmetics, I don't think it was even up to me to end or not, because people kept coming. Women, mothers, aunties, sisters, friends. The community of women were finding the brand, and it kept growing. And so every day there was an even bigger need to show up, bring beautiful products, explain how the makeup worked, teach my audience. And then there were events such as competitions, award shows, ceremonies, international travel. And so it kind of snowballed and created its own path once it was birthed. And my job was to nurture and steward, the young girls who came to work for me, as well as my clients. Some were middle-aged, some were moms, some were very young, never worn makeup before. So we had all different needs that was present, that the brand was allowing me to have connection and build community, but people had a reliable quality product and they could get hold of, that they could trust. Yeah. And it worked beautifully. It worked beautifully on their skin.
So once you knew that women were, I'm sure, as you said, there was really no other representation at that time. And so can you take me through seeing this is what women need? There's definitely a deficit. How did you meet that need if you had to start creating, I don't know, the foundation of where these products are made? How can you produce these products, distribution? Like, there's so many different elements. If they didn't exist, how did that work for you?
So again, I traveled and I started to find brands and test out products. So I bought a lot of products and wasted a lot of money before I discovered a manufacturer that would make a brand that was suitable for what I wanted. Okay. Non-comedogenic, now is vegan, but pigments that were rich, that could work for the darkest skin shade, but still perform on the lighter skin shades. And it was a lot of trial and error, even down to what the market wants. So at the time, we custom blended foundation. That was the best seller. We would blend your skin tone. And can you imagine having a foundation that was your exact match? No quibble. And that was our USP. We were blending. I think there was one other brand in the space, and they closed a couple of years after we started. So we were the only brand in the entire UK that was custom blending.
Okay. So this is good.
Yeah. And people knowing that was a draw. That was a draw because they would see their friends' faces. They would see other people, and the word got around. I would be at dinners, at business dinners, and then somebody would have their wife, and their wife would say at this dinner, "Oh, you're the one that does the cosmetics," and now the whole table knows. And it's like, wow, I'm glad we have a great reputation and we take care of our clients, because I'm at this dinner that's not got anything to do with the cosmetics, but my cosmetics are going before me. That people are speaking about this product that worked for them.
Your brand and your reputation spoke for themselves.
Yes.
That's amazing. Unexpected challenges. What were the most unexpected challenges that you had at the very beginning when you were just forming?
I think some of the unexpected challenges, some of the challenges were just the space of pioneering. For example, going to a hair salon and saying, I'd like to rent a chair to do makeup, and there's no pricing structure for a makeup artist because they only do hair and things like that. So that was great. That was just discovering where you fit. But when I actually did start in the department store, we would create so much traffic to our counter. They would move our counter. It had wheels, so they would move our glass cabinets. So I would come in tomorrow and they said, "Oh, we've put you over here." And what they were doing were using the fact that these people are coming to find our counter. But if they move me somewhere else, now they have to walk around the store and look around and buy some other things in the process. So that was very frustrating because there's a few things attached to that. We had a computer system that we kept the data on our clients, which no cosmetic company did at the time. So we would know your color, we would know what you purchased. And so you wouldn't have to discover that all over again. We could go into the computer and get your shade from a system. Nobody had that. And so some of the disappointments or some of the unexpected things were just when people were, interfering in what would be a natural flow, right? Or if there was an ingredient not available that affected a certain batch of colors and it's out of stock for weeks and weeks and weeks, and our customers want that. So, and these are things you just get used to. And so learning how to make that pivot, learning how to focus on something else or get around it, do a workaround, that was something that I think to this day has given me a certain amount of business savvy that I can talk people through solving high level problems, because I've had to divert my operations so many times in so many different ways.
Sure. What would you say when you think about the phrase creativity without limits? I know this is a phrase that is near and dear to your heart. What exactly does that mean for you, and how has that helped you in your business?
I think most women have an inkling, or most people have an inkling about something they want to create, but there's no agency. They don't know, is this legitimate? Is this going to work? Should I try this? And creating without limits for me, and that pioneering space, everything was so new and it was like an uphill climb, but it was so needed. So everything I tried was needed and it was useful and it worked for the time that it worked. So for example, we started before people were doing e-commerce, for cosmetics, that is, or before there was like apps for cosmetics or color matching or some of the things we see now from other brands.
Sure.
So there's no one to follow, and there was no one to give you the guidance on the rules. And so we were just constantly, most of my profit margin was going into R&D because we were constantly trying the next thing. We used to do marketing, paper-based marketing, and you would bring in your little coupon, your little voucher. And that was the marketing. We'd send someone out, go and give these out. And then that afternoon we're busy because everybody's coming in with their little voucher. Nowadays, you're doing that on an app, right? Or you're doing that on social media. This was before social media. So all of the communication and the marketing and all the efforts were sort of locally or nationally. And you would meet people face to face and you would know where they had come from. You'd know what response they, had attracted them to your brand. So there was a real connection. There was a real connection with people. And as the market developed, you have online, mail order, which was also really, really good. But more so now where you're more e-commerce, you don't have the one-to-one connection as much because there's some people we may never meet, but they may hear of the brand and purchase online.
Do you miss that? The one-to-one?
I think I didn't realize it until now where there's times when you don't know what people like. You don't get to see it. You don't get to show it. We don't have a store space. And to be honest with you, e-commerce is great because it allows more flexibility. But the women would come, and it was like a barbershop type thing where they would come and they wouldn't stay for 5 minutes. They would stay for 20 minutes, an hour, half an hour. And there would be women just gathered around the counter, watching other women, saying, I want what she's got. I mean, talking about their week, their day, their families. And they would come back and touch base with you and share like, oh, you remember that conversation we had? And you were like this beauty social worker that had this community knitted together and they had a place to belong.
Wow.
They had a place to belong, yeah.
That's really cool. Would you say that mentorship played a strong foundational role in you achieving what you have and getting to this point?
Yeah, I think being developed through that as a mentor, as a guide, as a coach, as a consultant, the confidence I have when I'm dealing with people, probably it's even more than for myself, but the confidence I have is because I've done it for so long,
Yeah.
and I can talk to someone and know where they're heading or how to help them, how to guide them,
Yeah.
talk to their blind spots, encourage them. And when I have done mentorship or when I have done consulting or even business startup consulting, I hit the nail on the head, and I have experience to bring to the table. I have stories to share, whether we're talking about trying to go for your, copyright protection or just a business registration, what format is useful and why. I have so much backstory that can help somebody to understand why I might give them the decision or the guidance that I'm giving them.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. And when it comes to specifically mothers, because I know that you're a mom, I'm still fascinated. You've managed to build, construct, to grow something from the ground up while having a child or children, and we know what it means to be a mom. We know the level of responsibility and dedication, and you being present is important. What are
Absolutely.
some of the life lessons you've learned about business through motherhood?
Ooh, I have one big one. This is a
Mhm.
huge one, and it's zoning. It's zoning in blocks.
Okay.
Structure for the child, but structure for you as the mom. So, for example, my day would look like, okay, we're going to school, we're getting her ready, breakfast, and I'm a mom. I'm a girl mom at that. So I'm
Oh,
cooking food for breakfast. We're eating at the table together.
exactly.
Everything's organized, right? We get in the car. I'm driving you to school every day, even up to high school. I was still doing the drive because she wanted luxury, so I gave it to her. Every mom can't do that. I understand, but where I lived at the time, it was doable. I lived like 2 miles from the school,
Okay.
and I was on the school board, and so then I would work till 3, because after 3, everything I need to get done has to happen up until 3 o'clock, and then after 3, I'm going to collect her, and
Mhm.
then she'll get a snack, and then I'm going to do dinner. We're eating together, and then she knows at 6:37 the jazz music is going on, because that's a sign we're winding down, because she's
That's
going to go to the bath and go to bed, and then I get from 7 to the rest of the night to do whatever I want to do. I
Mm.
was single as well, so by zoning, I knew, and to this day I'll work until about 3-4 o'clock
Mhm.
academically, typing, administration, all that kind of stuff. And then after, say, 5 is when I do social things,
Okay.
creative things. If I try to do administration at 6, 7, 8, it's not going to work, because I'm
Mm.
a morning person. So I've already programmed myself to know I'm very sharp up until this time. And so, if I had events and stuff like that, well, I'm going to organized babysitting, but by then she's already wound down and calm and everything, and I
Yeah.
can go. And we've had this agreement, mommy needs to be a good mommy, so you need to give her some space. And by functioning like that, I was able to fit so much into my life, you
Wow.
know so much, just for zoning, just for functioning in certain ways. And this is just Monday to Friday. On weekends, even though the store was open, I had staff, but on weekends, again, I'm very present the whole time. And so we're doing grocery shopping, we're doing, all the chores and all that kind of stuff, maybe visiting family, birthday parties, all this kind of stuff. And I was there every day at school. I was there for every single event, every single sports day. I never missed a thing. If she forgot lunch, she's calling me, Mom, could you bring my, I don't know, my football boots or my whatever, gym clothes, whatever. I would jump in the car and go drop them off. So my daughter actually has not ever felt me absent. She's had
Wow.
me the whole time. I have so many pictures of her, because I was that blogger back then, just taking pictures of every little
Love
thing,
that.
cheering her on. And she's a gifted and talented, so I was giving her what I may not have had, an early start into being supported creatively.
Sure.
And that was almost like a side business. Just being a mom is, you're like a PA to this child and their destiny, right? Who they're around, what they do, where they can do it. And my child did a lot of stuff, and I was able to advocate for her and have her do things that just working class people don't get to do. She was doing
Yeah.
horse riding, doing all this stuff. And because I would seek out, where was that? How could we make that work?
So
And
great.
she now says, Mom, my friends think you're my friends thought I grew up rich, but it wasn't rich financially, it was a rich life because you had someone present to help you. And I know in America it's different, just the distances people live from their jobs and stuff. But
Right.
where I lived, I was in like I don't know, 2 mile radius of the school and like a 7-8 mile radius of the work. But then I had staff that would, they would take over part-time to cover the hours that I wasn't there. But then when I was home, I was always thinking about the next thing. What am I doing? And I would, while I'm cooking, making notes and, researching. I love to research. And
Yeah,
once you research and find the right person to work with, the right manufacturers to support you, the rest is easy because the hardest work has been done in sourcing.
that's so great. That's so great. So many little nuggets of information. So what I'm thinking about right now is that mom who's
Yeah,
watching at home and
yeah.
she's thinking, I have so many ideas floating around in my head. How do I know where to focus? How do I know what to pursue right now? What would you say as advice to her?
We look at timelines and what's most important. So, for example, some of the key people that were part of my life, my graphic designer,
Mhm.
who else? My printer, because at the time they were going to create my communication, and that's all I needed to know. People just needed to know I was there and what I do, um, and so I would have ideas and send a quick email. Hey, this is what I'm thinking. Could you draft something for me? Once that's drafted, I know it's ready to go to print or to the newspapers. You know, doing press releases and things like that. And you create a template, then use you use that bless you, you use that template again and again for what you want, and you become trusted. So there's one newspaper, the biggest newspaper in the UK, The Voice, the black newspaper, and I've had so much support from The Voice newspaper. I have piles of newspapers that I'm in,
Wow.
right? And I'm thinking, look at this journey. Like I was no one, and I'm supported by a mainstream, uh, bless you, a mainstream news agency. And so I dealt with what was needed now, what was needed this week, and I dealt with it in, based on urgency, based on deliverable timeline. I think that's how I learned to project manage as well, because you are dealing with that plus your child's diary, right? And then all the other social events that go with that, who's picking up when, and when you're going to get a gift or a card. And there was, lots of moving parts. And I didn't have an assistant. So I just utilized those who were part of my team. I utilized them really, really well.
That's beautiful. I think that when women are thinking about like mentorship or life pivots, when life throws you, excuse me,
Yeah.
when life throws you the lemon, how do you make the lemonade? Your life just the way that you've built your business, the way that you have managed to balance business with motherhood, and it just is, it's so admirable and inspiring.
Thank
And
you.
I really hope that women, when they see this, that they feel that way. I believe that they will be. But now I would like to transition to something called Hot Mic.
Okay.
So this is going to be a fun game, and I'm trying my best not to cough.
Okay.
Okay, sorry about that. So this is a fun game. It's 15 rapid fire questions. And
Okay.
just to help us to get a little bit more insight into who Dr. Yana is. And so I'm going to do my best to kind of switch things up a little bit and not make them, I'm not even going to tell you what they are. So,
Go. Let's go.
question. Are you ready? The only rule here is, Dr. Yana, no thinking. You got to
Okay.
just say
Okay.
what comes to mind, okay?
Yeah. And I'm always in my head, so that's going to be a little hard. But
You got this. You got this. I know you do. Okay. Number one, a motherhood lesson that fuels your business. You talked a little bit about it before, but give me something really quick off the cuff.
treat others as you would like them to treat you.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay. A dream collaboration in beauty or in fashion.
Oh, Pat McGrath, because she used to come and watch me work on my counter when I was just
Oh,
starting. I didn't know who she was, and now she's huge. And I'm like, are you mean to say that Pat McGrath used to come to my counter? So I would like to touch base with her again and say, Pat, why didn't you tell me? I would have just given you some products, or it's just amazing that I was in business because I love business, and she was in business because she loves makeup. And it would have been nice to have known her or known that, and done something together.
Oh, wow. I love that. Most memorable business pivot.
Receiving a royal honor for services to cosmetics at a point where I wanted to tear the sign off the shop and just go home. I was so tired and burnt out. And
Wow.
on that day, I was honored on the Queen's Honors list and had to go to Buckingham Palace, and King Charles pinned a little pin on me.
Get out of here.
Services to cosmetics as the first Black-owned independent pioneer in the UK. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
In your conversations with people, you should lead with this.
Okay.
There should be a T-shirt made for you. What do you do with that? Where do you go from there?
So the MBE, and you'll notice people in the UK have MBE, OBE, or CBE. It's not a knighthood, but it's like very much recognized as somebody who's made significant contribution on a national level.
Yes.
Like a Madam CJ Walker type effort. And so when that's attached to your name, it's there on my title. People that know, and it opens doors, and it just gives you leverage to be seen as the thought leader or the expert in your field. And it has helped, because as I pioneer, or as I coach, or as I consult, we're saying I have significant background from which I can pull to consult you at the same level.
Oh my goodness. I would stay on this forever. Okay, moving on. This is amazing. Okay. A book that you keep going back to.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Robert Kiyosaki. I love it.
Yeah, that's good. Signature product from your brand.
The lip glosses.
Oh.
The lip glosses were just launched. 6 new shades.
Hello.
Okay.
Yes, we got to talk more about that soon.
Yes.
Okay. The fastest way that you personally recharge your creativity battery.
Shut the door. I shut the door, shut everyone out. I'm that one, like in my room by myself for hours and hours, music or a talk show or BBC Radio 4 Women's Hour, just alone, and I'm so full, and I could stay in there for hours.
I love it. The preferred work city for you right now, because you're in New York right now, right?
I'm in New York. New York is me. I am in New York.
Yeah, not London.
They're both very similar, but there's an energy here. It's very noisy, and there's music everywhere, on the subway, in the street. Sure. And so I like to be alone. And so having all that noise, and you can walk for blocks and blocks and blocks, you feel like there's company. So you can walk 50 blocks alone and not feel alone, because the city's alive.
Oh, I've never heard it described.
And it's nice because you're seeing, you're taking it all in, but at the same time, you're in your own head and in your own thoughts. And somebody might say hello, they might not. And that's completely okay, because everybody's doing something.
I love that. I've never heard it described that way before, but
I'm in love with it.
It shows. It shows. What is your confidence booster before keynote speaking?
Singing. So I will always sing. So there's a clip that just went viral this weekend. I'm on the subway and I'm singing on the subway loud, and everyone's engaging and filming me. And I was actually talking to one of the girls from my ministry and just sharing with her how to overcome confidence, and that's just to drop off fear of shame and rejection and just do it. And so I just started singing, and the whole platform was engaged. It was beautiful. And it went viral.
What song did you sing?
I sang this song by Joe Medal. He's an African worship leader. And he says this line. He says, "There is nothing you cannot do. There's no mountain you cannot move. I trust in you. You are my God." Beautiful song.
and beautiful voice.
Thank you so much.
Love that.
It gets rid of all the nerves.
It gets rid of all the nerves.
All the nerves, yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
It
Okay.
centers me and gives me confidence.
Love that. What is your favorite beauty ritual?
My favorite beauty ritual would be, I think it's all face. It's cleansing. It's shaping my eyebrows. I love lashes. And I'm going sort of more on the natural side. So I always have my lip gloss. Our lip glosses are vegan. So I'm always wearing lip glosses. When I was younger, I was teased and they were like, oh, you have big lips. And now, who's laughing now?
Right. Right.
No, so I love, anything to do with sort of like the face area. I'll, shape my brows for hours and hours and all this kind of stuff. But when I'm alone, locked in my room, I'll do those grooming things.
What is the age that you think as a mom, a daughter should be wearing makeup or should start experimenting with makeup?
I think when they're teens, and I think you can't stop them because now there's so much pushed out there, but let them wear a little bit of gloss. Let them shape their eyebrows, at least, because if we don't teach our daughters how to responsibly wear makeup, they will learn the long way around and it will just be ghastly. If we don't teach our daughters anything, they'll be ghastly. So we have to bring them into some of our rituals that we do with our makeup, our application, but in a very graceful way. And everybody doesn't need to wear everything, but it's just about teaching them how to be groomed.
Yeah.
In England, actually, they've just banned edges. And is it England? No, in Jamaica, and then one school in England. So there's a whole thing with this whole edges. It's getting out of hand. Right? And they're banning it. And I'm like, good. Yeah, this ridiculous, 2-inch of edges. And they banned it. Yeah.
Wow. That's so interesting to ban something dealing with your hair and expression.
I think they're making it, because sometimes their hair will frizz or get mush. And so now instead of working on their schoolwork, they're in the mirror gluing edges down and all this kind of stuff.
Good point.
And it's so distracting in the classroom. So they put a stop.
Yeah. What would you say is your go-to scripture for tough days?
He doesn't, what is it? He doesn't, is it equip the called? He calls the equipped or something like that. It's one of those scripture that reminds you, you're not here because you qualify. That's it. He doesn't qualify the called. He calls the qualified or something like that. Yeah. It's already in you. That's why you're here. That's why this is the job that you have to do. And I know I don't remember the references, but there's just all the scriptures that are encouraging. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. All these kind of scriptures. And it's more, rather than scriptures, it's characters. When I read about Esther and Deborah, I'm like, when I read about Jael, I'm like, I'm her. So it's more of taking on this persona of their characters. And in my book, actually, As a Woman Thinketh, I'm talking about how I overcame really hard battles, how I had to forgive, and how how I walked through forgiveness for some really hard stuff. And I'm likening that situation to a female character in the Bible, to say, I went through this and look at this story, how much I have gone through this, and reference this person's character. And that's what's kept me going.
And it is, God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called.
It qualifies the called. Yeah. So in this pioneering and stepping out, some people said, how did you do that? Or how did you know to do that? I didn't. When I was called and I stepped out, things came into play. They fell into place. Sometimes there were divine incidents that happened that supported my brand hugely. When I first went into the department store to be a brand, in situ, I had not worked out pricing structures because I just wasn't there yet. And I remember the buyer gave me the leading brand price list, wholesale price list, and said, follow that. She already put me in at premium. I'm like unknown. Wow. And so there's things that have happened when I talk about it. It's a bit of a miracle that you're pitching to be somewhere and you're not all that prepared, but they now say, well, we see you enough that we'll do the rest. We'll qualify you. Yeah. Right. And so you're now selling the same level as these bigger brands with all this money. And so these are the kinds of, I have so many stories, so many testimonials of things that have happened like this again and again, winning these awards and how it put you on the map. And it's like, wow, what did I do? I was just doing the small step that I knew to do, and then bigger things cascaded and happened as a result of that consistency, that consistent staying on track, staying with it, keep pushing through.
The beauty of obedience and surrender.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In that order.
In that order. Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah.
What is the award? You've mentioned awards. What's the award that you're proudest of?
I think the honorary doctorate.
Okay.
I applied to go to college after being on tour, and I was going to do international business. Mm-hmm. By the time I'd finished doing international business with my brand, the same university that I dropped out of, the Roehampton, it's the first Christian female university in the entire United Kingdom. It's a big university. I think Jacqueline Wilson, she was also honored honorary doctorate from the same university in the same year. Wow. Right? I think she wrote The Princess Diaries, Jacqueline Wilson. I think it is that book. They saw me and I think I was the first Black woman to receive an honorary doctorate from that university for all of the work that I had done. So I dropped out of the same university. I was going to go study that, and I get it anyway, even though I don't. When I talk about miracles in my life, there's so many miracles. And yeah. And, you know, those things are, yes, the Buckingham Palace is absolutely like groundbreaking. Can't top that.
Sure.
I'm talking about something you put away, the doctorate, and then it comes back. And, you know, there were all these different awards, Entrepreneur of the Year, the BET, is it BET? The BET Award, and the Award, and the Black Enterprise Award. Okay. That's what it was. Black Enterprise Award, Entrepreneur of the Year about 5 times. There's like 5 awards that I've won, significant awards. You know, Global Women Inventors Innovator Award. It goes on and on and on. It's like endless. There's just, wow. Yeah, there's so many. And I don't hold them up as like, oh, look what I've done. Because every day is new. Every single day is new. Sure. You know, some of those awards are historical now as opposed to in the present. So I always look at, well, what did you do today?
Yeah, that's great.
Who did you do today? How are you showing up today? Are you okay? Are you good? You know, what's your message today? And so as much as the Yana collection is my baby, I love it. All that experience and all that mentoring, coaching, and mommyhood now is forming the Faith and Glow community. And Faith and Glow is a network where entrepreneurs, moms, women, young women can come and find nurturing through, it might be, I might cook and video that and show how to make a healthy meal in a short amount of time, or it might be entrepreneurialism, or it might just be owning your voice and your thought processes.
Great.
And standing out. So this community, we'll be launching it in a couple of months, but it's, people need this now. And so I'm that mommy. It's like, oh, my mommyhood is now taking on this whole role where you become a brand for everyone who's a female, womanhood, you know, like the aunties, we're the aunties. So it's like you become this auntie that people can thrive from being in that community, being in that environment.
That's beautiful. And so many women will benefit from that.
I believe so. And I didn't see it at first. At first, I was really focused on selling products. And it kind of started to die off. And it not the products itself, but just there's something that started to shift. And there were the same graces weren't there. But yet people will pull on me. I'll cook a meal and then I'll post it in my private WhatsApp group, Heart Health. And my cousins are saying, hey, what's in that meal? It looks so healthy. And we want to know how to adapt. And all these little nuances that are helpful to people to thrive in their life.
Okay. What is your favorite meal?
Right now, salmon, avocado, and tomatoes, and sweet potato is my favorite meal because it's healthy. The sweet potato is healthy, and it cooks in the microwave in 3 minutes, 4 minutes. A lot of people don't realize that. Salmon has just got the right amount of fat, and it's it's a light protein, but it's good for you.
Yeah.
And then the avocados, natural oils, it's good for you. And the tomatoes are good for you and taste amazing.
All of it's
And
great.
all of it. So any salads or anything like that, I just adore.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Coffee or tea?
Definitely tea.
Okay.
There's a particular tea, and I won't say too much, but as a teaser, it's a particular tea and it's beneficial for everyone, and it's called mountain tea, and that's one of my favorite teas. And so I'm just now just playing with some ideas with them with that tea because it's so delicious.
Mm,
Yeah,
mountain tea. Go out and get it. It's called mountain tea, ladies. Go try it.
it's
Um,
hard to find as well.
okay. All right. The good stuff is just sometimes it's just so hard to get to.
Yeah.
Best advice you have ever been given as an entrepreneur?
My uncle John, who used to be a contractor with the mayor of New York,
Hmm.
and one day I just sat, I always sat at his feet, like, Uncle John, show me stuff and tell me stuff, teach me stuff. And I remember he, had worked with a lot of big clients, the government and all this kind of stuff. And I remember he just said to me, humility, be humble, always be humble.
Mhm.
And I love him for that because what was happening was I was winning awards, I was being seen and known, I was in the papers a lot. And I didn't know if you're supposed to be somebody else when you get famous. I didn't understand because I had no one to teach me. And so him telling me that, just be humble, and then looking at his character, I was like, okay, I get it, just be yourself. And it's paid off. But I don't desire to be like, like that. But it was a good way of helping me understand that there's nothing else required than
Yeah.
being yourself.
Thank you, Uncle John.
Yeah, thank you, Uncle John. I adore him.
First thing that you pack for a business trip?
A suit, usually navy. My authority color is navy blue
Wow, really?
all the
Not
time.
red. Not red.
No. I'll do red shoes.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
there's fire on my feet.
Yeah. A little
Yeah.
pop color. Okay, I like the fire on the feet. Love that.
Navy jacket or skirt, and it's always that for authority for business. If it's not business and it's more creative, it'll be the color that I'm wearing. It'll be cream or beige.
Love creams.
Soft, yes.
Yeah, it's beautiful. What is a quiet win that you celebrate most often?
Having a daughter that has grown up to be such an amazing advocate, a woman that people love, and somebody who has values very dear to my own, and she has great critical thinking. She can see, and when we're together, we just, it's amazing. Seeing her turn into the woman that I thought she would turn into is absolutely amazing, and our relationship is beautiful.
That brings chills everywhere because I have a 4-year-old, and that's
Oh,
the ultimate goal. As a mom, that is my ultimate goal.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
all I ever did was see her know what she was. Somebody, sometimes I'd get called up to school and there'd be a situation and I would say, what did you do to her? And they would look at me like, oh, I said, I would say, yeah, because my daughter, she doesn't start anything like that. So she will react. So somebody must have provoked. And just knowing her on that level and defending on that level and advocating on that level meant that she learned that her voice was important.
Yeah.
And she learned that, if you speak up, things can be done. If you communicate, your life is better when you communicate the things that you want.
Sure.
And work things through. Yeah.
Well done, Mom. Well done.
Oh, thank you.
Last question. What is the creative dream that you have for your company right now? Where do you want to take that?
Oh, I have a very definite vision that I feel like I'm or would love to be in the space that's similar to a Martha Stewart, a Black Martha Stewart. I feel that I want to bring something and I call it African luxury, right? We see Banana Republic with all these beautiful things that look like you're in the tropicals or whatever. That's the kind of branding that I want to get to in the Yana collection. So we'll have sheets and pillows and glassware and cushions, and it will all be luxury that's celebrated and presented with the diaspora, just living in that harmony, but that we can identify with and say, hey, I want that theme in my house. We might have elements of kente, or we might have pottery, or we might have just different things. But I love land. I'm a land girl. I love tropical places. And
Yes.
I want my space to always have lush plants and just, have neutrals and to just have natural fabrics, cotton and coconut shell and stone and brick and all this kind of stuff, right?
Wow.
And so that's my desire. So if there's any investors listening or any venture capitalists listening, connect with me. We got to make this happen. It's overdue.
It's overdue. It's coming. It's
Yeah.
definitely coming.
Yeah.
Um,
And I love that space of hospitality.
yeah.
I'm such a mom. Like, even though I do business, I take my biggest skill of hospitality and bring that to an audience and say, enjoy. And I sit back and watch them enjoy.
Wow. I would buy all the pillows, all the sheets, all the comforters, all the things, everything
Okay.
from Dr. Yana. Please, please invest.
Yes.
Invest. This is a solid investment. And I love that you know what you want. You know the
Yes.
next steps to take it. You're just patiently waiting. When the opportunity presents itself, you're going to pounce. And I know that you will.
Oh, I can't wait. I remember going shopping or even just doing the laundry with my mom and my aunt, and they've got a way to do things, or my aunt teaching me about Egyptian cotton and this and this and this, and everything is purchased with insight and thought.
Yeah.
And if it's that important for them, making the purchase, it must be important for whoever's doing the buying or whoever's implementing the brands. They're not just there because they're there. They're there because they're good quality or they solve a problem. And now everybody's going natural as much as possible. I want to be in those spaces where I can bring cotton and copper and things that are beneficial in your space. And now the brand's curated for your wellness.
Curated.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, thoughtfully curated. I love that.
Yeah.
Dr. Yana, you are refreshing. You are like this breath of fresh, beautiful air that now has pillows and sheets and all this decor and luxury all over it. And I'm just like, wow, I didn't know all of this. It's so beautiful. Thank you for the insight. Thank you for the value that you bring to the beauty industry, and for all that you want to still do, all that you've accomplished. You're not just sitting and saying, I've arrived. Now I can sit down. You want more. You're going to do more. You are doing more. You're in New York right now to do more. And so I just want to say thank you for all that you do and who you are. For women at home who are watching this, how can they like you? How can they support you? How can they find you?
Okay, thank you so much again for having me on the show. And it's been a delight to share my heart, because we want people who are authentic and just share their real life story so we can pull from that. Some parts we identify with, and some parts will bring permission and influence and encouragement. You can find me on my website, dryanajohnson.com, or the brand website, theyanacollection.com, either of those two places. And sign up, get on the mailing list for when the new things drop, as they say. But I really hope to be able to give back, starting in New York, where I first learned my craft, where I first experienced some of what I'm doing now. It started in New York. So I'm giving it back from New York.
Yeah. I have a feeling we're going to hear more about this very soon.
I can't wait.
I can't wait to. Thank you so much, Dr. Yana, for being on the show. Thank you for being just an inspiration to so many women. If you are a mom or a woman at home with a dream in your heart, or you just feel like you've sort of stalemated, not quite sure where to go, share this episode with someone that you know. Rewatch this episode, because I know I will be, just to get the little nuggets that Dr. Yana threw in there, here and there. I want to make sure I don't miss anything. But I'm so, so grateful that you took the time to sit and be a part of our conversation. Dr. Yana, thank you again. And hopefully we can have you again.
Oh, I would love to come back again. And I thank you that I could be part of the Unmuted and just share and hopefully empower somebody along the way.
I know you are. That's exactly what you do because that's who you are. Thank you, Dr. Yana, for joining us. And thank you all for joining us at home. And we will see you on the next Unmuted podcast. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.
What you just heard wasn't just a story. It was a spark, a glimpse into the heart of a woman living her purpose, and a reminder that when one woman shares, another woman wakes up to what's possible. These aren't just conversations, they're catalysts. I'm your host, Anjali Marshall, and this is the Unmuted Podcast, where voices rise, stories connect, and purpose finds its volume. Until next time, friends, stay unmuted.